Well, hello there, and welcome to today's webinar, which is how to close more cleaning quotes at higher prices and with a lot less work. And today I am going to be joined by a good friend of mine, Kurt Kempton, CEO and founder of Responsibid. But before I formally introduce Kurt to you, I'd like to maybe share with you a few things about what's going to happen on today's call. Now, we're just waiting for a few people to hop on, and I can see that we've got Robert from New Zealand, which is awesome. Welcome, Robert. We've got Todd all the way over there in Perth. Todd's got up quite early today. Bob's in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to you as well, Bob. And I can see Cherry from Phoenix is also there. Welcome, Cherry. And there's a lot of you. Oh, welcome. This is awesome. I'm so glad to have so many cleaning business owners who are, really ready to dive in and work on their businesses rather than, as the saying goes, working in their business. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Type of information that we're going to be sharing today is really digging deep on some of the ways that you can work on your business and make an impression and move that needle to where you want your business to go, which is obviously more customers, more revenue, and of course great quality, great services along the way, and being known within your particular marketplace as an expert and a great company to deal with. So we are going to be talking a lot more about that, and we do have a lot of people on the line today, which is just thrilling. So let me just get started and let you know that you are definitely in the right place if today you want to learn how to really free yourself from the day-to-day operations of your cleaning business, because until you're able to do that, if you're still on the tools and you're still doing a lot of the cleaning, then it becomes quite difficult for you to also be working on your business. So we're going to be sharing some, a few strategies for that. We're also going to be talking about how to figure out what's available in your schedule, and then how to fill that schedule of your team members with appointments that are going to make you money. So, and that will be when we're talking about the software platform that Kurt also built, which is called CrewCal. So we'll be talking more about that then, and of course how to save money in fuel expenses. Fuel for any cleaning company is a big expense. And so we've got a few great ideas for how you can save some money in that area, plus save a fortune in your own admin time in your business. And I've put down there save a fortune, and that's both financially, but also I'm all about finding ways to put time back into your life, because as you probably know, time is that one commodity that we can just never get back. So how to save not just a fortune, but also a fortune in your time in the administration side of your business. And then some of the things that I love talking about are how to beat the big boys to the new customers, even if you have a tiny marketing budget. Now, I believe that is entirely a whole webinar of its own. But during the course of today's webinar, I'm going to be trying to share as many little ideas and strategies as I can, as we have time for. We'll also be talking about some of my top secrets in keeping your best prospects from disappearing in what I like to call the twilight zone. And this is something, it's really simple. It does not take a master's degree in anything to do. It's just knowing that what you need to do. And also how to dominate your competitors. Doing certain things will get the phones ringing and the leads coming in. Now, we may not get to all of that. I'm going for gold. I'm going for great and hoping that we get to all of that. But we do have a lot to cover in today's call. So before we get started, let me just, for those of you who don't know me, I maybe just share just a quick little backstory. My husband, Hamish, who you can see on the screen here, he started Clean Corp after we were a young couple with 3 very small children, and look, we, just like most young couples the world over, we were struggling financially. Hamish was a carpenter, and he had his own business, and his paychecks were really infrequent, unfortunately. I was working in sales and marketing for an international hotel chain, and so I was the one that was, with the regular paycheck. But I only got paid once a month, and it was at the end of each month. So the beach that we're standing on here is actually a really important beach for us, because we realized the day after Christmas, about 23 years ago, that we had literally run out of money, and we didn't have a penny on our credit cards, no cash in our wallets. I mean, we really didn't. We had no funds in which to draw from, and even though we were financially, we were very careful with our money, but it was just circumstances straight after Christmas and what have you. And when I realized, I had, like I said, I had 3 tiny children. When I realized the predicament we were in, and I knew that I wasn't being paid for, I think it was another 10 days, I was nervous. I was kind of uptight, as you can imagine. And Hamish said to me, look, let's just go down to the beach and let's just think about it. We'll find a way through, we'll find the answer. It will be just it'll give us a welcome relief from feeling this stressed about it. So off we went, and we went down to this beach that we're standing on in this image. And I was on the sand with my 3 little girls, and Hamish went for a swim. And, he came out of that ocean really fast, and he walked back up to the beach towards the girls and I with this great big smile on his face. And I remember thinking, what on earth are you smiling about? We're broke. We are flat broke. And he walked over to me, and he still had this smile on his face, and he put his arm out in front of him, and his palm was curled up. And then he opened his hand, and he showed me that he had some money that, obviously some poor soul had lost in the surf. And what Hamish told me was that he'd gone under a wave. He'd come up, and he'd seen something floating on top of the wave. So he reached out and he grabbed it. And then when he looked at it, it was a $10 note and a $5 note crunched together. Now, clearly that was not going to change anything for us. But you know what? That became the end of a really difficult period for us, because we decided on that beach that we were going to start our own business, and we didn't know what that business was going to be, but we just knew that we needed to have a more secure financial future and more predictable income. So Hamish's brother worked in real estate, and he said to him, look, why don't you clean offices at night? You can get a couple, I can get you a couple of cleaning jobs. And Hamish did do that, and he realized really fast that cleaning was a great business to have, because if you did a good job, you got to keep your customers, and then you had this monthly recurring income. And so Clean Corp was born. And from there, with Clean Corp, we've grown this business. Like I said, it's close to 23 years we've had Clean Corp, and this business is now, it's all over Australia, it's in New Zealand as well, and it's become a very big success. So I always like to share that, so that you know that I know the struggles that you've had. I've had those exact same struggles being a cleaning business owner, so I really do get it. I really do understand the things that you're going through. And of course now, because of the things that we've put into place in our own cleaning business, we get to do a lot of fun things, and we get that time freedom that I mentioned earlier, that time freedom that can be really hard to get when you own a cleaning business. So we tend to, go on nice holidays with our children. As you can see there, they're not little girls anymore. They're all growing up way too fast. But we make it a priority to have really great holidays together and really fun times together. And we've been able to do that because we know the key. We know how to do, how to grow a cleaning business and do it smartly, and using great marketing strategies, and of course, using technology to help support everything that we have in place. So without further ado, that's enough about me. I just would love to introduce you to someone who is amazing. Of course, I'm speaking about Kurt Kempton, founder and CEO of Synthesize. And he's developed a service quoting software, which is called Responsibid. And you know what? I'm excited to talk to him because he's got a lot of energy and passion for giving small business owners, like especially like in the cleaning industry, he wants to give them their life back. And he's done a lot of keynote speaking on, how to improve the efficiency of small businesses and productivity of small businesses. And he's built this incredible software that has really revolutionized how a cleaning business can put together a bid, a proposal, and he's done it in such a way that they're able to use his software so that they can sell their services the same way that customers are used to buying, and the way that customers actually talk themselves into buying more. So we'll talk more about that when we have him on up in a minute. And of course, we'll also be sharing his knowledge with us and, some of the secrets. I mean, he is a former cleaning business owner himself. So again, he really gets it. And, I always like to speak to people who understand our industry, because I think there's some really unique areas within our industry that we all know about, but others don't. So it's great to speak to someone with that sort of knowledge. So Responsibid is, you might be thinking, well, what on earth is this thing? And look, it's a bidding system that helps you close more jobs at higher prices with less effort. And I will leave Kurt to go through that. And then he'll also be talking about his other software, which is CrewCal. And it's the world's only truly intelligent automating scheduling software. So that's really quite exciting to hear that. And look, he built these two products with a team of world-class developers. So, this isn't just something he's put together. It is really, really amazing automation and software, and some of the coolest tools ever built for the cleaning industry. Now, I've been trying to get him on this webinar for quite a few months, and because I love what he stands for. He's all about restoring, order and enthusiasm to our industry by using, simple, easy to use systems. And I just love that. And before he started his software business, he graduated in 2005 from ASU's business school. And he's had real life experience in retail and, like I said, in the cleaning industry. So one of the things that really attracted me to when I spoke to him the first time was he said he realized that he wasn't great at sales. So he set to work building, a sales system that would become this software that would then become his service company. So he really does have fantastic insight. So I'm going to let Kurt take over from here. Welcome, Kurt. Welcome to the call. It's wonderful to have you here. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kurt Kempton is going to give you some great insights and information on Responsibid. And we'll take some questions later.
That is really at the core of the big deal I want to share today. When I realized that you don't have to be a great salesperson to do a great job at sales, as long as your sales system is good, that was a huge turning point for me. I'll tell you, I used to walk out to a job. I used to count the number of windows, and then pressure washing the house will take about 2 hours. So here's pressure washing, gutter clean out, and all the different stuff. And I would show the customer line, and then grand total. And that is how I operated my business for probably 3 years. And I could never figure out why some people would take my ultimatum at the bottom and other people wouldn't. Mm-hmm. But invariably, people would always want to haggle.
Right.
I got just so frustrated because I go to QuickBooks, I'd put it all in, I'd put this nice professional proposal out of QuickBooks, I'd give it to people, and I was constantly getting people saying, I'll tell you what, if you throw in the glass cleaning or the screen cleaning, or if you throw in this, or can you do a little bit better on that price? Or I would show it to people and they'd get sticker shock and they would say, well, I'm gonna have to call around. I got this kind of stuff all the time, and I felt like, I'm a nice guy. Why is everyone being so mean to me, you know? And it really came full circle when I was thinking about my sales process, and I realized it didn't match any of my buying processes that I used in my own life. And I think that epiphany that I'm going to share with you now was a really big turning point, where I realized that whenever I go somewhere, a restaurant, for example, there'll be a menu, or if like at the Apple store, if you go to buy a computer or an iPad or something, they'll say, hey, here's how we're going to do this. What kind of laptop are you looking for? Like a professional one or just one to carry around for travel? And then you say, okay, I'm looking for travel. They say, okay, great. Good, better, and best. And I would say, oh, all right. Well, what's the difference? And then they explain it. And then the cheapest laptop they could sell me was $1,000, where you could go to Best Buy and buy one for $250 all day long. So I realized that as I was buying things, that people weren't line iteming me and they weren't ultimatuming me. I think I might have invented two words, but the thing that I realized was that you need enough options to feel educated. You need enough options to see value differences. And you need to be able to make a choice without being overwhelmed. Mm. And you need to understand very clearly, what value can you give me that nobody else can? And that needs to be worked into every single option that I have to pick from. So I made some really rudimentary stuff. I went down to Kinko's, the little copy center nearest. And I took a paper, and it just was good, better, best. I differentiated 3 packages, and I did all the same math I did before, but this time I just put the prices good, better, and best. And I did it for like a week, and I realized when I got to the end of the week that I hadn't lost any proposals. Every time I'd gone, in fact, I also realized my prices were too low, but I came out and given these proposals, and people went, all right, I'll go with this one. And no one ever haggled, and I felt like, what just happened? This is impossible. Mm. Well, you know, why is everything going so well?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of understanding and realizing that even though it wasn't very good, it was good enough to get the psychology of what I was doing to work. And so instead of someone looking at a price and not knowing if that's a good price or not, and having to call my competition to find out, so someone calls in and say, I want my windows cleaned and my house pressure washed. I would go, here's your good, better, and your best package. Good is windows only. Better is windows and pressure washing, and best is windows, pressure washing, and all of your screens and tracks clean. Yeah. And people would go, all right, I'll just get the best one. And the reason is that when you don't have to call the competition to find out if it's a good price, and when you find out that what they're offering in terms of value, what it is, without understanding all the nitty gritty of it, that right there changed everything, because there was nothing to say, can you throw this in? Can you do that thing?
Exactly. And you know what, that's it. It's interesting because it also really differentiates you. I mean, it makes your business really different. And we talk a lot about differentiating within Cleaning Marketer, how important that is, and having that good, better, best option is brilliant, because that immediately puts this massive wedge between what your cleaning business is offering and what everybody else is offering. And so obviously that helps. That really helped you with your conversion rates.
Well, yeah, that's right. And oh my gosh, did it help my conversion rate? It also made it so that I had to it became a necessary thing to raise my prices, because when you're getting all your quotes, and for a while there I was getting all my quotes. I'm not getting all my quotes anymore, but you don't want to be getting all your quotes. And when I realized that there's one value proposition line. If you throw a line in there that says proprietary XYZ, all of a sudden you become what I call unshoppable. That means, okay, thank you for your quote. This line that sounds really, really, really good, like I can't imagine living without it, it says proprietary. I'm not going to, and I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. I'll show you some proposals, but
yeah.
Anything that's your unique selling proposition. And I know, Lisa, you talk a lot about that.
Yes.
But whatever is unique to you, something that they can't, what is the promise that you're willing to keep that nobody else is willing to even make? That right there could be, I mean, I will show up on time or you won't pay a dime. You've heard, well, we hear air conditioner. Not a lot of cleaning companies that I've run across will say that. Another one is, I have a customer that says, our proprietary payment receipt is that we will only take payment 1 week after the job is completed. That's a carpet cleaning company, because it's very common for a carpet cleaning company to come in and clean the carpets, and then what? A day or two later, all the spots come back up.
Yeah.
And that's their guarantee is, we won't even take your money until I come back and we look at these spots that aren't back.
Yeah. And I mean, that, like you said, it's unshoppable by doing something like that. And it also means that you become much less of a commodity. When you're talking about cleaning services, and I want you guys on the call to really think about this too. If you imagine that your prospects are not waking up in the morning thinking, oh great, I'm going to buy a cleaning contract today, I'm going to buy myself a cleaning service, they're just not going to do it. So when they do, like, it's almost for some people quite a chore because they have to go through the quotes and the bids, and they have to meet with people. It takes up their time. So if you're providing reasons for them to really want to connect with you, then you're making their lives a lot easier, and two, you're making your business a lot more profitable because you're magnetically attracting them to you. So it's it is a super, super important thing to a super important strategy for cleaning business owners to remember, that every cleaning business owner out there has a mop, has a vacuum, and has dusters or wipes. They all have the same three those same things. So we want to move you from a state where your prospects see you as a commodity, in other words, the way they decide on a commodity is they just go, okay, price, which one's cheapest, I'll go with that. To a state where what Kurt is saying is that they cannot compare you, because they can't do an apples with apples with what you're offering versus what all the other commoditized cleaning businesses are offering. And that's a really important place to play at when you're in the cleaning industry.
That's right. And I'll tell you that in a lot of the conversations that I have, people will say, cleaning's cleaning. You want me to come up with a unique selling proposition? That's impossible. And whenever someone says that to me, I just feel bad for them, because that means that you're adding no value to this world. It's terrible to say, but if you are not able to think about something that would make you jump out and stand different from the competition, then that should probably be your first priority, is really what it comes down to. But let's step back even a little bit more than that. You're just understanding that if you offered your customers a good, better, and best option to be able to purchase from you, what does that do for your sales system? Well, what it does is it means that you don't have to have salesmanship. You've got to think on the front end really hard about what it is that you're going to do that adds value, and what levels of value will be meaningful. And then once you have all of those levels of value spelled out, guess what? Any of your cleaners could actually give a proposal. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. I was in the very early stages of Responsibid. In fact, it wasn't even called Responsibid. It was called 5-Star Window Care's custom quoting system. And we built it out, and I kind of told you how I started with just the Kinko's copy, and we got a little bit more advanced, and we built it for our website. And that was a huge thing for me, because I was able to hire an office manager who knew nothing about our services, but was really good with people on the phone. And I was able to, in one day, training the person what numbers go where and how to do things. And she was able to start giving quotes over the phone just by entering specifications one day later.
Right.
So she's giving quotes over the phone. She understands how it all works. I was so impressed. I was so happy that she was able to start selling things right over the phone without even knowing what she was talking about, really. She never worked out in the field. So the day after I hired her, I hired a sales, or not a sales rep, an actual technician out in the field. But I said sales rep as a Freudian slip because really your technicians out in the field, who are the people, all the residential neighbors are coming up and asking, how much would it charge for you to do this? How much would you charge for that? So your technicians, who in a lot of cases in the service industry, they're grunt workers. They're not sales polished people. They're great, nice people, but they're not the people you would put as the face of your company. And typically they don't want to be. They wouldn't want that anyway. Yet they're the ones who are interacting with these potential new customers right in the neighborhoods you're servicing. So anyway, I'm out and I'm training this new guy, and he's a nice enough guy, and I'm training him how to clean a window. I'm training him how to, safety things to be watching out for and all that. I'm going through my checklist of all this. And sure enough, neighbor comes over and says, hey, can you give me a quote? So I had him get out his phone. And at the time, he had to go to our website. Now you would just click the button on the phone, but whatever.
Yeah.
He goes to the site, and I just taught him how to count. Now, you wouldn't think that teaching people how to count stuff would be that hard, but those of you who own businesses and had employees, you know that training someone how to count is sometimes necessary. And that's what we did. I showed him how to count windows. I showed him how to measure a driveway. We were doing a quote for window cleaning and driveway cleaning. So I showed him how to do it. He hit the button, and lo and behold, no math mistakes, right? So that was part of the system.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that saves you like $1 million every year. Because math, have you ever heard of a math mistake that benefited the company?
No, rarely.
So he types it in, he hits bid, and he goes, wow, and he just turns it, and he's like, all right, so I just show the customer this? And I said, yeah. So he goes up and he shows the customer. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He just goes, all right, so our basic package that does exterior window cleaning and this is that, and our deluxe that does this, and he's just reading it to her. Yeah. And she said, all right, well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and just go with the deluxe. When can you guys do it? And he's like, I don't know. So I took over because he doesn't even know how to clean a window, let alone answer this. So I said, well, what'll happen is the office is probably going to call you in about 5 minutes or so, just whenever they're off the phone. This proposal just went into the office, and they're going to call you, and they'll set up the time with you. She said, great. So I took them back over. We're learning how to clean windows because the notification that comes in after the bid, office called and booked the work. Anyway, within 2 hours of being on a job site, this guy is learning to clean windows, already sold a window cleaning, pressure washing job, and he hasn't lost any paperwork yet. I'm just so happy.
Awesome. That is so awesome. And I bet there's a few people on this call who are going, yes, I need this. And
well, I mean, it was so archaic at the time, but I remember like inside my stomach just feeling myself like, I can't believe this is happening. I was so excited. So as a result, we've built a lot of different things, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but the point is that a sales system can transform any technician, any person who's a good receptionist. It can transform even me, who I love talking to people, but I hate asking people for their money. I don't know. I just had a lot of negative salesperson experiences,
right? And
I never want to be that guy. So I've always been really probably too timid when it comes to sales. But this system is just, there's 2 questions every time you give a proposal, and especially if it's a package proposal, just 2 questions. It's so simple. You don't have to be a genius. You hold it up and you say, which of these look like the level of clean you're looking for?
Right.
Okay. So when they answer that question, they close themselves. Like, which of these look like the level of clean you're looking for? It's a very innocent question, but now they're going to say a package, and like they're committing to something. And then the question right after that is, oh, okay, when were you hoping to have the work completed by?
Yeah, nice.
I mean, done.
And tell me, Kurt, do you find that having that structure of a good better and best pricing. Do you find that people tend to go with the higher priced anyway? Because most people, I don't know if this is a bit of an Australian saying, but I don't know if this will translate for you guys, but a lot of people don't want to go for the quote unquote poverty pack. You know, they want to buy something that in their mind provides a lot more value. And and so, you know, yes, they can just get the, you know, the floors vacuumed and the you know, the and mopped and a bit of dusting done, or they can have, you know, the dishwasher emptied and all the plates put away, or they could have the beds changed, and you know, like, you know, adding on. And I guess when you put those desirable aspects into the better and the best, it creates that desire within them that, like, yeah, I'd really like my sheets to be changed by my maid service each week, or I'd really like, you know, XYZ. So is that what you're finding, that the close rate is on the higher pricing?
Well, yes, there's what we found mathematically at ResponsiBid, because obviously we have a lot of data now.
Yeah.
What we have found is that about 20% of the people go with the poverty pack.
Do you like that? Hey, can I get a hands up in the chat box? Does anyone like my title of the poverty pack? Have you guys heard of that before? For 8 people like it. Okay.
I gotta tell you, I will be using that every day for the rest of my life. That is so great. I call it basic, but now it's just been transformed into the poverty pack. So 20% of the people will go with that. I'll explain my suspicion there about behind the numbers in a minute.
Sure.
But in the deluxe package or the middle package, we find that about 70% of the people live there, and only about 10% go for the premium.
Right. That's
as a whole. Now, the reason that I believe that happens is that you need to make sure that if you want your premium to do its job properly, it's got to be off the hinges crazy.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is somebody who's expecting to see $200, you need that premium to be about a 4 or 5, more than double the price that they were expecting to see.
Okay.
And the value needs to match.
Yeah, that's interesting. So if you can you like maybe give us an idea? Let's talk about a residential cleaning service.
Okay.
So let's talk about that in terms of an example. Where,
sure.
Like, if you were talking about you know, a home with maybe 4 bedrooms and a couple of bathrooms, theoretically, what would be like the good price then versus the better versus the best, and how would you build it up?
Sure. So pricing is going to be, as I have learned, very different depending on where you live. Cost of living is just so different all over, but we don't need to get hung up on that. Somebody looking for residential cleaning, at the very minimum, they're going to be looking for getting their floors vacuumed and swept and mopped. They're going to look for some bathroom cleaning, toilets clean, probably shower scrub. So we'll find that in the poverty pack. I can't say it all. We'll call it the basic package for a minute here. So the basic package will include all that.
Right.
Then in your deluxe, then you're going to start finding some of the more exceptional stuff. Maybe like some more dusting. Probably start to find things like maybe we'll get some more kitchen cleaning, some more in-depth kitchen cleaning. Maybe if you're really crazy, maybe a little bit of laundry or bed sheets changed.
Right.
But when we get to the premium, that's where we're going to start talking about dusting all of the blinds and detailing, maybe like the fireplace being cleaned out, or just like really in-depth stuff that like totally sucks. Like I wouldn't want to do that. Like cleaning a fireplace, to me, I can't think of anything worse off the top of my head, but like that would be something I would want to put in. So anyway, so what you'd want to do is you present a price for what they're probably expecting at the minimum. Then you want to show something that really allows your company to shine, that we're going to do a little bit more. And then when we get to the premium package, that's the stuff that it came out of left field. Like, I didn't
Mm.
expect you to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe the dryer vent cleaning or something like that.
Sure. And then, okay, so I've just had a call, a message here in the chat from James saying, well, you know, as a commercial janitorial company, will this principle, you know, will this apply to me? Will this work for my business? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so commercial can be a little bit tougher because you're probably going to have an RFP, request for proposal,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to probably give you specifications, which of course that would be probably your basic, coming in again at basic. Now, a tough thing about commercial is that at commercial, price is going to be, there's going to be bean counters that are probably not looking at things at the value so much as how little can you do it for. But this is where it's really important, because commercial is going to probably have to be a bit more custom. You're going to need to go and talk to the person about why they're going out for RFP. Hopefully, they're going to be able to mention to you some shortfalls that other people had. So in the way I would structure that is I would say, okay, here is the basic. It meets your specs. Here's the deluxe. It really takes into account the fact that we're going to be gone by the time that, you know, other people are showing up, or we won't be cleaning the windows in the entry areas during arrival or exit time of your employees or customers, or whatever. Just really kind of meeting their need. Like deluxe would be probably just humanizing it a bit more, going a little bit further. But premium is so critical that even though they didn't ask for these other prices, it's important that you become an advisor, an expert for them. Because who wants the guy who, well, bean counters want these guys, but bean counters want the guy to just show up and get the work done and leave. But if there's any say from the facility manager or the person who is really interfacing with you at the cleaning level, you need to have them rooting for you. And in that premium package, that's your opportunity to throw out the things that you notice that they didn't ask for, that they didn't say were pain points, but that you're like, look, I know that this is, you know, this high dusting or this whatever is going to make a massive difference for you. If we bundle it all together, it will be more expensive, but it'll be cheaper because as a whole, bundling it together. When you do that, there's some psychology that's happening. First of all, you're positioning yourself as a company where everybody's coming in like this, and this is residential or commercial both. If everyone's coming in right around the same price, doing pretty much the same thing, what did we just call that earlier? A commodity. That's, you know, I don't care what brand sugar I'm buying, it's a commodity. I don't care. So if you're coming in and you're putting that in, by offering this and this, now all of a sudden the guy who, or the girl who is over the facility management, all of a sudden she's going, these people get my life. Like, gosh, finally, this is great. I really would love to get them, even if we have to end up going with the basic and their basic is a little more expensive than other people's, at least I know I'm getting somebody who understands my pain. But then if the premium says, my gosh, this company is capable of this.
That's right.
Their arsenal is much bigger. Their capabilities are much bigger. Their USPs are much bigger. And the fact is that, and I know in the janitorial world that cost savings is so big. The fact is that if you spend your entire life trying to differentiate yourself on cost and you want to play that game, it's a race to the bottom.
It is. And one thing that I'd jump in here and just clarify, because as a lot of you may know, and again, for those of you who are joining us live on Facebook, I just want to welcome you guys here as well. We've got Kirk Kempton here today from Responsibid, and what we're talking about is, you know, ways that you can win more jobs and basically at higher prices with less work. So when we, if I can just answer that question or talk to that point, a lot of in the commercial and the janitorial world, yes, when you're working with an RFP, there is there's little room for you know, for change, because they've delineated very clearly what they want. But there's a whole other area of the janitorial and the commercial cleaning space, which is the corporates. Now, I'm talking about businesses that in many cases have office fit outs that are worth, hundreds of thousands, maybe even, millions of dollars. And they want to keep their space looking beautiful. Now, they often will have someone like the office manager or the personal assistant, the executive assistant. That person will be responsible for finding a cleaning business to provide services to their business. And that person is just in no way equipped, more often than not, with what they need. So when we come into them to prospects like that, that's when this good, better, best can work really well. And you imagine if the office manager calls you in and says, I need this dusted and that vacuumed and that mopped. That's what they think. But with your own expertise as a cleaning business professional, you're able to say, well, listen, look, you've just spent $200,000 on this beautiful fit out. It'd probably be a good idea if we did, we cleaned the walls once a week or once a month or whatever it might be. And you can start to build from there. And the other thing is, of course, those corporates, you can build up, with your deluxe package, offering to include the consumable items, the paper products, the soap products, things like that. So I see this as a very strong solution when you're dealing with the corporate end of the market, and also understanding that those people are buyers too. And like I mentioned before, that office manager did not wake up that morning wanting to buy a cleaning service. So the more attractive you can make it for him or for her, in terms of, I'm going to get this. If I go with a basic pack, I'll only get that. But if I go with something a little bit more upmarket, I'm going to get this. And that gives you a whole different conversation that you can have, and a much easier way for you to differentiate yourself in your market.
And to speak to differentiating yourself, I think that in the commercial world, it makes the game, it's easy to get caught up in how hard it is because it is so price centric. But isn't that kind of a huge advantage that you can differentiate yourself by not being like everybody else is worried about price?
Yeah.
We're just really worried about your experience. I'll give you another example. In my company, what our price differentiator or what our differentiator was is that we're a customer service company that just happens to do windows. And we would always brag in our email copy and different notes. We would say, hey, we're going to send people over to your house that you would actually invite to your Thanksgiving dinner, which I know in Australia is probably not
That's right.
But we would send people over to your house that you would actually spend holidays with. And by saying that would be like, what are you talking about? When people come to my house, I'm usually in fear of my life or something, and I'm thinking about the plumber and the air conditioning guy that were here just a few months ago at my house. But
that's the story. That's the story that you're putting together, isn't it? That's that lovely conversation. So when you are either on the phone with someone or when you're face to face with a prospect, you're building all of that into the conversation, so that just makes your value go up in their mind. And I think that's really where we need to go. Now, what I would like to do is maybe get you to show us a little bit, because I think that the platform, we've talked a lot about it. We've talked about why it would be such a great idea, but we're coming up to we've got about 15 minutes or so left, and I do want to make sure that I leave some time for Q&A. So if you could maybe just show us the one thing that you think would be really, really cool for everyone to have a look at, that would be awesome.
Sure. Looking at here is actually a fake website. It's just an example of a made service.
Have you got? We're getting a lot of feedback on that.
My sound's bad?
Yeah, there you go. You're good now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
This website here is a fake website of a maid service company that I just put together real quick. But so someone comes to your website. A lot of people would expect that they're either going to be able to get generic price or they're going to have to call you for a price. One of the things that people talk about with ResponsiBid is how nice it is that we give this quick little tool that you can put in. You can include video if you'd like to go through and explain the process you're going to take them through and allow them to kind of just select what they want and move through the quoting process. And I'll just explain you here. This is kind of the admin area. This is where you would log in and look at your own quotes and things. So as an example, this is a fake quote, Harry Sparks. And Harry got a quote for carpet cleaning, dryer vent cleaning, and window cleaning. And we can look at the proposal. I wanted to show you a proposal. I apologize, this is a test account, so you have a picture of my son and a video of me. But you can see that the customer's already kind of clicked here and selected what packages they're interested in. And they've got a carpet cleaning quote. Looks like there's some upsells here for dryer vent cleaning and window cleaning. So they kind of sucked in a few extra things that they might want to get a quote for. And what Responsibid does is it's really strong at presenting, and every proposal should do this, it's really strong at presenting, here's what you're going to get and here's what you're not going to get. And if you tell someone that, it kind of flips the script on what could you live without. And hopefully these value propositions are good enough that there's very little that they can live without.
And I love the way, just one thing that I notice is that the first price that you show is the premium price, then the deluxe, then the basic. So you're going with that, you know, I think psychologically that probably has a bit of an impact on people's perceptions as well.
Let's, this is a test quote. Let's go ahead and put the pricing a little bit more appropriate. $450, $200, not the opposite way. We don't want to. So yes, you're right. It's called price anchoring. It's a strategy that is used by lots of people, especially in more expensive purchases, where I can say, if you're expecting $50 for a carpet cleaning, that's not fair. That's not fair to the company, and it's not fair that when you call and you expected $50 and I told you it was $100, I'm all of a sudden expensive. I'm the bad guy, and they have to call my competitors to find out that they were in la la land.
Yeah.
So price anchoring, what it does is it says, hey, here's what you get for all this, and it's $450. Now, the person who is expecting $50, what they're going to do is they're going to go, no way, right? Like, you gotta be kidding me. But what's really magical is that when they look at the deluxe price, and again, this isn't really an RFP situation. This is more of a situation where you've got the customer to yourself, and you know that you either are so far the first person giving a quote, or someone else is giving them a quote, but they're in a position to make a decision right now. The cool thing is that when they go from 450 to 200, 200 is not being compared to 50 anymore.
That's right.
200 is being compared to 450, and what happens in their mind is they start to go, well, that's a lot less than the other one. How does the value match up to the price, and how much money do I have to spend? Now they're starting to think about it in terms of real terms, and it is psychological, and it happens in varying degrees. But your chances of somebody biting on a 200 when they were going to expect 50 are much, much, much higher, and there's a lot of studies that prove this. But sure, they may downsell themselves all the way to 100, and the idea behind a basic package is to say, I'm gonna charge the highest value I can, the biggest bang for the buck that I can, but I need to be profitable.
Yeah.
And as long as you are as profitable selling your basic package as you possibly want to be, but you can be competitive, then I say go for it. Someone may downsell themselves to it, but you should always hope that when someone selects this package, it is not because the value here is crummy. It should be because they're limited by budget, and that's really the main constraint pushing them over.
Exactly. And you know what? Just to, another point just to reiterate, remember what we know in terms of what we offer within a specification, within the services we do. That's our first language, guys. But for our prospects, it's not their first language. They don't know that when we do a service, we do X, Y, and Z. So it's on you. It's a good idea for you to include that so that people can see it, and that helps build that value in their mind. So it's, I mean, I don't want to say it's the guy with the biggest specification wins, but it is close to that when you're looking at comparing different services. That it's just that that mental trigger that, oh, I'm getting more with these guys. So keep that in mind. Now we are running a little short on time, so I wanted to make sure I get the opportunity to handle some of the questions that came through. So I guess one of the questions that I did receive was from Hendrik, and Hendrik's here in Australia, and he said, if this is a US-based product, how does it fit into the Australian business model? And are there any others or any software products or systems that you've mentioned that are, promoted, that are adaptable or suitable and user-friendly here in Australia? And I guess that would also go for our people who are in New Zealand and anywhere else in the world if they're watching this.
Yeah, we have quite a few New Zealanders and Australians using Responsibid. Yeah, we have quite a few users anywhere they speak English and that they use dollars. Everything else you see on the screen is all customizable.
Right.
And so hopefully you want to try our system and use it, and that's awesome. I'll explain more about what we're going to be doing for you guys here on the call.
Sure.
But what I would like you to know is that whatever system you use, don't overcomplicate it. You need to make sure that you are spending the time coming up with the differentiators. Don't make packages just to make packages, but make sure that if you're going to use, and this is Responsibid, if you're going to use Responsibid, you want to make sure that as you're going in, whatever country you're in, speak to your clients. And I'll tell you the reason I say is because I have a guy in New Zealand who's using Responsibid, and I was going through all of his packages with him one day, just kind of looking at what he did. So, wow, that looks really good. And then I was looking through his follow-up, and there's Responsibid will automatically follow up with your customers until they book the job or even after they book the job, however you got your automatic text and email and postcard follow-up set up. And I was looking at one of his emails, and I thought he was being really rude. Like, I said, wow, get in now or you'll have to wait. You'll probably have to wait months. And I was like, do we want to soften this up a little bit? He's like, oh no, people love that. And I said, I always thought New Zealand was a bunch of really sweet, nice people. He's like,
they are.
I said, I can't imagine talking to people this way. He said, no, man, it's worked great for our business. We just tell people what to do. And I said, okay.
Okay. All right. That's the way they do it. Now, I've had a question that's just come up in the chat from Bob from Atlanta, and Bob's asked, Kurt, has Responsibid been used with other service-based businesses?
Yes. Just to give you an idea here, we already have pre-built modules for all of the services that you see here. Mm-hmm. Painting and pressure washing and carpet cleaning and granite countertop repairs. Actually, I'm missing this. I don't have all of the modules in this account here, but yes, that we cater. Our company's mission is to create great bidding and sales experiences for service-based companies. So if you don't see something here and you are a service-based company and you need it, that's what we build.
Right.
For people.
Awesome. Okay. And just really quickly, are you able to just talk about CrewCal and how, because we did, one of the things that we talked about right at the top of this call was how you can fill your schedule. And I'd really love you to quickly show everybody how that works, because there are quite a few residential cleaning companies who are on this call. And I think this would be particularly interesting for you guys.
Absolutely. So CrewCal, man, do I get excited about CrewCal, because this took us a long time to build, and we finally did what I thought was, I knew was possible, but I just knew it was a really big deal. So if a customer gets a quote from your website, or if you give a quote over the phone, one of the biggest challenges is getting people scheduled at the right time for the work. So in this case, let's say that the customer is looking at this quote and they chose the carpet cleaning job and they want to schedule themselves. What CrewCal does is it injects into this bidding software and it figures out what crews can work when. And this isn't hooked up to a calendar, it's got real live data in it. But you can see that what it's doing is it's allowing the customer to pick a date and a time, and it goes into the future, and there's actually a lot of really magical stuff happening. I can show you in the background. Well, I should say, when the customer picks their date and time, they actually can confirm their appointment, and they can actually even, if you determine you want to collect a deposit from them, they can you can actually collect a deposit.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But here's what's tough is that there's other softwares out there that allow customers to schedule in real time. The big problem is that none of them are considering all the stuff they should be considering. And I'll show you what I mean. So in this case, as the admin, when I book, I'm actually going to be able to see what's really going on here. What's happening is that CrewCal knows that Chris Renfro or his crew is not only close from a location standpoint, but they're also going to be less than 80% full by capacity. So if we said, yeah, that's the next opportunity I want to use, or maybe I want to schedule here, it will show you all the recommended times, and it will also allow you to see what the route would be for all your different stops. And if you decided you wanted to grow the time or shrink the time, you could do that. But when I confirm this job, it's already got drive time built in between the different jobs. And if you looked at the way that it's actually set up from a setting standpoint, I've already taught CrewCal what services Chris can do, what days he works, where he parks his vehicle at night, and not only the crews, but I tell it how fast he can work in each of the services that he does.
Right. Wow.
In addition to telling CrewCal about what my preferred driving distance is, what my maximum driving distance is, and if it's the first appointment of the day, how would I want to treat it differently? Yeah. By telling it all of those things, CrewCal can do, it can overcome three big problems. Number one is it can make it so that your person in the office who's scheduling doesn't need to know the area. They don't need to know how fast the crew can work. They don't need to know really anything other than what's good for the customer. And CrewCal will even rank. If they say anytime is good, CrewCal will actually even allow the admin, when they schedule, check this out. They can say, what is the most recommended time? And it will say, Monday, August 21st is the absolute best time for you to go and do this job. So if they're good with anything, just pick that time and it'll allow you to schedule it.
That's awesome. And that's how you get really good use of, of your team's time, by being able to have those kinds of insights.
Yes. So just to let you know, you would set up CrewCal one time. I mean, obviously, every time you add a crew member, you can tweak it. And when you start out with a trainee, they're not going to be able to work as many dollars per hour. But as time goes on, you can make some adjustments. But you pretty much set it up one time. And CrewCal, every time I click this button or every time a customer says they want to schedule, what it does is it goes into your CRM that we're connected to, that Responsibid connects to. It sucks that calendar in for that crew. It digests all the location information. And then, for example, here it says, if you book this job, you're going to be more than 80% full. Or if you saw a red pin or a red capacity, it would mean it's too far for you to drive, or it's going to take your day over at the end based on how fast this crew can do the job. It's actually doing all the things that a seasoned office manager would do, but it does it in an instant. Every time when I click that button, you're like, oh, look, it just pops up. But what you don't know is that it did about 10,000 calculations that
just
fast.
Like that. And tell me, Kurt, does CrewCal work for recurring appointments?
So CrewCal is good for scheduling a single appointment. Again, this is the part we didn't really spend a lot of time going over, but Responsibid is a sales platform that allows you to kind of get in the door, and CrewCal connected to Responsibid kind of allows that initial business experience to go forward.
Right.
As far as recurring appointments and all that goes on, Responsibid actually doesn't hold a calendar. It just digests your CRM's calendar or Google Calendar or whatever calendar you're using. And what you would do is you would set up your recurring appointments after that job, or when after you finish scheduling your first job. Like if I schedule this job here, I would go into maybe the Google, this is a jobber calendar, but if I was in Infusionsoft or whatever, because it connects to Infusionsoft and so forth, you would go into wherever your calendar is based and set up recurring the way you would in your because now it's operational. Now you're going to set it up from an operational perspective, but every time you go to schedule another job, those recurring appointments will show up on the calendar, and you'll be able to schedule around those with the person you're in question at that moment.
Right. And yeah, that makes sense. And I guess that's what leads to you being able to make savings in terms of fuel as well, because you've got a much more, well put together plan for the day or plan for the week, and they can, take the most efficient routes and make sure that they're saving money for the company in that way too.
Yeah. If I had planned better for the fact we were going to do CrewCal, I would have found a test account that had more data in it. But it's actually quite a neat thing to behold, because as you're watching it happen, it's actually pulling in all these appointments, and it's figuring out all the drive times in between and finding the holes in your schedule. And as long as it doesn't push it, it'll be a green recommendation as long as it doesn't push anything outside of your parameters. But yeah, it's all I can say is this, is that my office manager, I sold my window cleaning and pressure washing company. And the day that CrewCal launched, I felt an obligation to actually drive over to where my office manager is working and give her a preview and show it to her. She said, "Kurt, I'm about to faint right now. I can't believe this is real." And I said, "Watch this." And I gave her a pre-release version. We sucked it into her account. And I said, "Watch this." And I scheduled a job for her. And she's like, she just sat there shaking her head. "This isn't possible. This can't be possible." It's so cool.
I know, it's so cool. Now listen, we're a few minutes, and I hope you guys don't mind. Just we might just go a few minutes over, because I wanted to first of all let you know I do have something very special for you that I'm going to be sending to you. So hang on, stay with me for a few more minutes so I can show you that. But in the meantime, Kurt, you mentioned to me before everyone came on the call that you had something special to offer in terms of, for people who attended this webinar, something special in regards to trying out Responsibid. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So you can always get a free trial of Responsibid anytime you want. Go to responsibid.com, get your free trial. It's 14 days. See if you like it. We're happy to do it. But through the end of this week, for all cleaning marketer people on this webinar, what we've done is we've made it so that you can go to responsibid.com/Lisa, and we'll give you one-on-one training. Normally that's $597. We'll give it to you for $299, and then we'll give you 3 months of Responsibid for free. So you'll have someone walking you through the setup of your pricing, setting up all of your follow-up automation, setting up your CrewCal so that it's setting up your parameters all the way you want it. We just hold your hand through the whole process, making sure you like everything that's going through. And then after that 3-month period, normally it would renew at $179 a month. But what we're going to do is renew it at $129 a month. And for $129 a month, you will be able to get, no contract. And actually, we have an ROI guarantee. We're the only software I know of that says that if you're not making 2 times your ROI in Responsibid, then you'll get it for free. We will not charge you. So that's kind of, we can ensure it because we do the hand holding and we get it set up for you, right? But the whole idea is that Responsibid is kind of an interesting software because it's actively getting people off of your website and giving them quotes and letting them schedule jobs. But it's also making it so that anyone who did get a quote, maybe in person or over the phone, is getting automatically emailed, text message, postcarded, however you want. It's really easy. You set up your follow-up, click, 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 and then Responsibid will keep following up with those customers and turning them into jobs. So people the ROI of ResponsiBid is huge, but we wanted to do something special for you guys for the pricing. So again, that's responsibid.com/Lisa.
Great. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for that. And look, I'm just going to wrap up by for a couple of comments here. Kim Cushman has asked, "Is this available everywhere?" And it is, because Kim, it's a cloud-based system. And Gail Martinson has said 3 months of free ResponsiBid would be amazing. Yes, it will be. Let me see if I got any other questions here. Robert Bukowski has said, that we've highlighted some key points. Don't assume that the person you're dealing with knows exactly what's required and needed. You need to differentiate. And yep, that's absolutely spot on, Robert. So let's see, what else we got? Okay, I think that's probably, James has asked, how would this system work for prospects accepting bids from multiple janitorial vendors and in the prospect structured format? James, I don't know that it would, to be honest. I think that might be a little bit tricky. And Kim Cushman's asked for what is the link for this, and I will put it in the show notes. But the link to sign up is responsibid.com/Lisa. Okay, and Bob Bird has said, is this available with a mobile app?
We're actually, so far we have not needed to make a mobile app, although we do have it in the queue to do anyway, because here's how it works. You'll just go into this on your phone, log in at bids.responsibid.com, and then what you do is you save it to your home screen, and what it does is it actually becomes a mobile app, but because it's all web-based, it keeps up to date. So instead of fiddling around with the whole app store, we've just made it mobile friendly to begin.
Okay. Kim has said, does it track employees?
So it's a sales tool. So from a sales tool perspective, you can track your employees as the sales are going through, but it's not going to track hours on the job or anything like that. It's really geared towards just making the sale and transitioning it off and sending the data immediately over to your CRM, where you would probably do more of that stuff.
Right. Okay.
But what it does do is it does keep track of your lead sources. So I got 14 leads that came in from Google. That's 45% of my total leads, 43% close rate, $340 average ticket price, $2,038 booked. And it has quite a few really nice reports that'll tell you how often what your close rate is with your different lead sources. So for example, Bing, I'm probably not going to want to spend a lot of money there if I'm only closing 25% of the jobs that come in from Bing. But maybe, Angie's List is great.
Yeah. And the other question from Busy Bees Cleaning Crew is she'd like to know, or they would like to know, does this integrate with their website?
Yes.
Or can this integrate with their website? Yes.
So all you would do is you just go into your installation and you have a little piece of code. I'll show you. You would just copy this or have your webmaster paste that in. You do it one time, and it'll show up, and it just looks like a button. Now you can also do a different version. You can put it on as a form on your website, depending on how you want to do it. But you'll put that on one time. It integrates directly into your website with that little snippet of code, and it will. If you change your prices, your website will update. If you change your services, your website will automatically update. No matter what you do in ResponsiBid, your website will always update. Now, I will say there are about 10% of our customers who don't install ResponsiBid on their website. They only use it in-house. Depending on your market, we've heard some people give good reasons why they don't want to allow their web visitors to get quotes. That all said, ResponsiBid's pretty smart. It makes it so that if you can see someone's getting fake quotes from your website, you can actually blacklist them. So if they have a fake email address, or their IP address is obviously bad, like this was done in the call screen, but if you can tell that it's not a real person, you can actually blacklist them, and it'll always look like something just went wrong for them when they try to get a quote. So,
right. Oh, that's smart. That's smart. Awesome. Okay. Well, Kurt, thank you so much. I think oh, hang on, Gal's got one more question. Would you recommend a house cleaning business partnering with a window company to do a deluxe package, or is it better to showcase your own stuff?
That is a tough question. Here's what I've seen. I probably would not blend a window cleaning and maid service or house cleaning package into the same service. So I wouldn't do a good, better, best where the best includes someone else. I wouldn't want to rely on that.
Yeah.
But I do see this pretty often. I'm a house cleaning service, and we've partnered with a carpet cleaning service to sell jobs and they give us a kickback. I have seen very successful where people turn on the carpet cleaning modules, allow the carpet cleaning company to help them build out their pricing and just tell them what they want to charge. Add a little bit extra on for themselves, maybe in addition to whatever it would be otherwise. And that way, web visitors or when they're giving quotes over the phone, it makes it super easy to be giving out those quotes for services that your company doesn't provide, but you can honor it and then just handle the actual transition of the lead once the job is ready to schedule. To say, okay, great, I'm going to have Carpet Cleaning or Us call you to schedule that job.
Yeah.
It just gets really fuzzy when you say, all right, so half of the package is getting your house clean, and the other half is getting your carpets clean. Now we need to coordinate in order to make that service happen. Ugh, gross. I don't want to mess.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for it's been absolutely fantastic just to hear about what's possible. I mean, it's just awesome. The technology is awesome. And I want to thank you very much for coming on and for sort of sharing your incredible knowledge, Kurt, on the Responsibid platform and also Crew Calendar. And I hope that everybody who's been on the webinar can really see how this can help their businesses and help them grow. Now, one thing I did promise, we've done our Q&A session, was something special for you guys, which I'm very, very pleased to bring to you, because I know this is a pain point for a lot of cleaning business owners out there, and a lot of service-based businesses who can't find great team members to join their business. And so I put together a 16-page, very in-depth, free book that I would like to offer you guys, and it's called How to Find, Hire and Grow a Team of Amazing Cleaners That Your Customers Will Love. And in this book, we go through how to hire an A team instead of just a team, and I give you a proven system that you can use to recruit, hire and grow your staff, and show you what the qualities of top performers are that you can look for in your future hires, as well as a 4-step interview process that will help you build a fantastic team. Because it's about, it's about having the right questions in order to weed out the people who are not going to be right for your business or for the culture of your business. And then the final thing is the 7-stage life cycle or journey for your cleaning team and trainers. So please go and download your free copy. You just go to cleaningmarketer.com/team, and you can download this fantastic resource. I'd love to get some feedback from you guys once you've had a look at it. I've there's been a lot of research, a lot of ideas that have been put into this that I think you'll find are new ideas that will really help you in terms of getting, growing your team members. Because look, if your cleaning business doesn't have a great team, it's going to be hard for you to grow. So there you have it. We have reached the end of our webinar, and I'd like to thank my very special guest, Kurt Kempton from Responsibid. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today, and for those of you who got up at 5 a.m., thank you. I will be doing a lot more webinars, and I want to make sure that each one of the webinars that I do for you is exactly on what you need. So if you would leave me a note in the chat, tell me what it is that you'd like me to focus on next, and I will put together a full webinar. And this is all free. There's nothing to buy here, guys. I do this as a way of giving back to the industry, and of course, full disclosure, some of you may want to work with me in the future, which would be awesome as well. But this information and these webinars are, you know, just something that I like to do in order to you know, to help you. So leave me a note in the chat. Let me know what you'd like me to focus on so that I can help you even better. And Kurt, thank you very much. It's been lovely to have you here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. And it was great chatting with everybody else. It's awesome.
Okay then. Well, thank you. Thanks, everybody.